chapter 1 it says. Yeah, but I replaced the chapter 1 with the introduction. That's what we did the other last week. It was supposed to be introduction, but here's chapter 1. Alright, so we're looking at the financial services environment. That is the entire environment surrounding financial services. When we say environment, what do we mean? As usual, our interactivity. Let's be interactive. So when we say environment, we hear marketing environment, business environment. In general, in business, when we say environment, what do we mean?
Factors that impact.
Excellent. Those factors that impact. What are some of them? Yeah. That's right. Technological factors. So the changes that actually happen in the technology side actually impact on the businesses. Okay. What are the factors? Political. Others? The legal. So political, legal. So in short, I mean, some of the management theories have actually done us a favor by creating what we call the pest factors or the pestel or whatever they call it. All right, as a way of us conceptualizing and understanding the various factors that impact on the business environment. So it makes it easier for us to remember. So you have the legal, political, you have the economic factors, you have the social-cultural, and you have the technological factors. All right. Now, in recent times, and we're saying that all these actually affect marketing of financial services in a way, and they become challenging for us. They become challenging for us. Now, in recent times, can someone give us some of these factors that have actually impacted in our own business? That even you are aware, maybe you have had discussions on them, briefings at work, on how some of these are impacting on the business, positively or negatively. Can any one of us tell us? Give us a practical example.
Yeah, for the beginning of the year, the aspect of the foreign exchange regulations that came from the central bank.
That's right.
There was a challenge to
the industry. Specifically to your business, I mean your company.
Well, for us, because of the chunk of the forex that sits with Stand Charts, and so it became a service issue.
That's right.
Because the customer doesn't understand why he has that chunk of money and cannot take the money, and he wants him to take the money easily.
Excellent.
And so it impacted negatively on us because the feedback that goes out from the customer is that this bank is their service is poor, you need your money, they won't give it to you, and all those things. So instead of us focusing on building our books, we have to do a lot of damage controls because you have to sit and explain all these policies that the central bank has brought for the customer to at least have yes, that it's not intentional. So it was very, very challenging.
What are some of the measures that you took that helped or kind of mitigated to some extent the impact?
For us, where we stand is when the central bank gives instructions, policies, it's not instructions, policies like this. It has to be followed to the letter.
Yeah.
That is where our place is very, very, it will have to follow to the letter. So we will not give any room to anybody. But what we were doing is that in case you wanted to take this money and send it to somebody or pay for it, okay. Previously, you can scan at the counter and cash even $100,000. You send it out. But now it is not possible. But then your dollar, don't change it. Just bring the documents. Let's send it for you so that you won't say that you have lost by changing your dollar.
So to speak, you actually improvised with some new approaches.
It was there, but people were not, some people will never make use of those platforms. They always want their cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you sort of emphasized a little bit more for them to, because when some of these measures are put in place, it's also increasing the cost of transaction. You understand? Like what he's saying. I mean, people think that the process is too laborious and all that, so it kind of increases your cost of transaction. So you've got to find a way to mitigate the effect. But then, crucially, for people to understand why, you may have to take some proactive measures. For example, sending them shots, like letters, quickly explaining in total, but then in a very simplest form, why the measures, how does it impact on you, how does it impact on us as business, and what you as business putting in place to reduce the impact. Did something of that happen? Or you're not sure that
it depends on the catchment area.
Yeah.
If the area has an elitist kind of society,
yeah,
it would be easier. But when you have semi-illiterates,
I agree, but that's why you have IMC, don't you? Integrated Marketing Communication. So once you have segments,
that's what she was talking
exactly,
about.
yeah, I agree. So you have some of the customers that you're supposed to have face-to-face interaction.
Yes.
Others you've got to send them email because they could read. And some of them, like us, perhaps we can understand policy positions quickly. So you've got to vary your mode of communication. You've got to vary your approach. You couldn't say that, oh, fire shots to everybody else. Man, you know. But again, with stand chart, you can understand your profile, customer profile, likely to be up there. You understand? Not all of them, but you're likely to have a different type of profile, customer profile, than say, Ghana Commercial, no, sorry, not Ghana Commercial, but JCB Bank, or maybe a Great Man. You understand? So depending on your customer profile, your segment, you've got to approach some of these things differently. But in any case, you have to have clarity in terms of how to communicate. And then make sure that the value is actually placed highly onto the customer side. Are you with me? How does that impact? Even if it's a negative, so to speak, but the fact is, it's supposed to be a measure that can actually lift this country out of the economic downturn. How do you translate that to the benefit of the customer? Because some customer will say, do I really care? Why should I, suffer because somebody somewhere had mismanaged the economy? But it is your duty to make sure that that value is felt directly to the customer. You get a point? Unlike saying that, oh, it's the central bank says we should do this. How do you communicate the value? Are you with me? Any questions or clarification?
A similar thing happened in the insurance industry.
Yeah.
Where
yeah, today we have to talk more about it.
The regulator sent out a directive saying that effective 1st April this year, you can't do insurance on credit. So if your premium is 2,000 Ghana cedi, you have to pay everything up front. It became an issue. So the way around it was we had meetings with the key clients.
And that's enterprise insurance.
And then explain to them what the guide was about. For those who really could not bring out the money, we arranged that you could agree with us to do it in tranches, maybe on quarterly basis instead of doing 12 months. You could do 3 months so that the amount is small, you pay, and then we roll it over.
That's right. Now, let's look at the nitty-gritty of that policy. I mean, it was the insurance authorities, they brought the National Insurance Commission, they brought the policy. What did they say was the reason behind that policy?
Over the years, the debt on the books of insurance companies was growing.
That's right.
So the regulator felt that if it doesn't do anything, it might get to a point where the insurance companies would have very low liquidity and therefore would not be able to pay claims as and when they occur. Which would mean that insurance companies would not be taken serious.
That's right.
They would even go a long way of maybe reducing trust in the industry, maybe some insurance companies even collapsing. Because you might end up having a claim which is so huge you cannot pay.
Excellent.
So a way of arresting that situation.
Excellent. How do you couch that to the customer? In terms of addressing from benefit, value, proposition perspective.
Yes.